Oh,
Live
it's
preview.
live. Well,
Is it?
finally.
Is it?
Finally. After what? How long was that? That
It
took
took you
3
2 minutes.
minutes.
It took you 2 minutes to get initialised, yeah?
Dear
You,
me. I do
you know,
apologise.
switching
Uh,
you on took 2 minutes.
oh my gosh, that was the longest wait forever. It just seemed to go on and on and on and on. Anyway, we are now live. Welcome to the Sports Deck 90-minute podcast
Yep.
with me and Steve Zaref.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, not bad after yesterday.
Oh, what happened yesterday? Oh, the game. Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Wasn't it a good game?
It was a good game, actually. I was actually working over the weekend, so
You mean to say you've just conked out there? You conked out for a second. Did you not
I
think it
said
was a good game?
I did, but I didn't see all of it because I was working. So I think it was like the last sort of 25 minutes or so.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
saw 3 goals?
I saw Tottenham equalise, and then I saw Man City score their third. Is that right? And then there was that fiasco with Grealish, where
Yeah.
the referee blew the whistle, and don't know why he blew the whistle. He was given advantage and then pulled it back, but Grealish was very clearly one-on-one with the keeper.
No, he wasn't. What game are you watching?
He was.
He wasn't 1-on-1. Let's get this straight. So first and foremost, yeah, as usual, bloomin' hell, you got it wrong. Right.
Yes.
So just as you know what you missed, Man City attacked for 7 minutes. Spurs didn't get out of their half.
Mm.
Then Man City had a corner. Spurs got the ball clear. 4 passes later, it was in the back of the net, 1-0. Man City got a foul about 2 minutes later, and it was a good free kick, well positioned free kick. Haaland got it touched his forehead. He glanced it. And Son stuck a leg out, hit him on the knee, and it was an own goal. But
Yeah.
Son scores twice regularly at Manchester City, twice in 3 or 4 minutes. That's not the first time. So it was 1-1. Man City dominated the first half. To be honest with you, totally frank, should have been at least 3, maybe 4-1 up at half time. Haaland missed a fairly easy goal. Doku hit the inside of the crossbar and post, and they got a second goal from Foden, which was a lovely worked move. 2-1 at half time. I think probably 90% of the population would have gone for a Man City win. They were 16-1 on to win the game, Man City, at that time. I posted on Facebook at half time, be funny if we nick a goal, because we started the second half with a little bit of I don't know, it just seemed to be completely different. It was a bit like we were scared of them in the first half, and in
Okay.
the second half it was the other way around. Man City must have thought, oh, this is easy.
Yeah.
It was quite entertaining. I wouldn't say it was the best game I've seen, but the goal that Spurs equalised with, which you did see from Lo Celso, great shot. I've got to say, and I know you know I'm Spurs man, but I think the goalkeeper could have done a bit better there. He could have done better with Son's
Yeah.
goal as well. Can't blame Vicario for the own goal or the goal that City actually did score.
I didn't see
Um,
that one.
and then Basuma gave the ball away for the third City goal. I hate to be critical, but in my head, I know you want to play a certain style, but there are times when you just kick the ball away, and that was a very easy chance to kick the ball to
Yeah.
a teammate. And he tried to do too much in the wrong part of the field and got caught out, and Spurs got caught out. And that's typical of Tottenham, really. This style of football suits if you've got your best 11 players on the pitch, and we don't have that at the moment. However, Kulishevsky seems to score there every game at Man City, and he scored and I think it flicked his head, but then it sort of, that part of the shoulder here,
Yeah.
top corner. I don't think you could argue that Spurs deserve something out of that game.
Well,
I
from
think
what
Man
I
City,
saw, they looked the better team, but of course I didn't see the first half. But
no, Man City were miles better in the first half,
yeah,
miles better. But you know what? I know all my friends say, "Oh, all you've done is do Arsenal a favour." He hasn't done Arsenal any favours.
mm,
Arsenal won their game. They were dead lucky at Brentford the other day. They're away at Aston Villa this week. That's no easy ride. Aston Villa don't lose at home.
no, they're
Um,
sitting in fourth. They're doing quite
yeah,
well.
but they were bang lucky against us. There should have been 3 or 4 down. They got a lot of luck that day,
Mm.
and as did Wolves. Spurs. That was their worst performance this season. Tottenham against Wolves. Um, but like every Spurs fan, I'm sitting there thinking, well, Romero's back tomorrow or today, so he's ready for Thursday against West Ham. One centre half back. We haven't got a centre half playing.
No, I know. Been bad
So
with injuries.
yeah, terrible. Oh, I just saw some guy moaning about Real Madrid got another injury today, and I'm thinking, well, Spurs have got 5 players that won't play again this year, and 2 that are out for the rest of the season. So it's not exactly rocket science. If you've got a massive squad of 30 and you miss 8, we've got a squad of 23 and we're missing 9.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's very tough, but it is what it is. Great result. I do think, though, and I said this a while ago, and I haven't changed my mind. Whoever wins the league this year, and I honestly mean it, I don't think Man City are going to win it.
Well, they don't seem to be as on point
On the
with
eye on
everything.
the ball, last year they did the treble. They were brilliant. They were
Mm,
outstanding. And they came with a run to win the league because basically Arsenal couldn't touch them. They couldn't beat Arsenal. Arsenal couldn't beat Man City at home, and they couldn't beat them away. And obviously, if your biggest rival wins the league and you get no points off them, it shows that you're not really the best team.
yeah,
Um, this year, I think Manchester City are finding it harder because they have got a few injuries, and they've got 3 suspend. Well, they've got 2 suspended yesterday for this game with Villa. Man City play Villa this week. They've got no De Bruyne who's injured, no Rodri, and no Grealish, and they're their 3 best players other than Haaland.
yeah, yeah. It's going to be.
So I think Aston Villa might shock Man City this week, and I think they'll get something against Arsenal as well. So the league table could look very different the weekend. Um,
It's
Spurs have got
definitely going to be
Newcastle Sunday.
an interesting set of fixtures.
Yeah, I think so. It could be. I'm not saying it will be, but it could be. You could have five or 6 teams in the early 30s there this week. If Arsenal have a bad week, a draw and a loss, which I can see happening,
Yeah,
and Man City maybe get a draw and a win, and Villa get a draw and a win, and all of a sudden you get 4 points. And I'd love to see Spurs get 6, but it's tough with Newcastle as well. I think they'll
yeah,
beat
they're
West
doing
Ham.
okay the last
You've
few
got
games.
you've got half a dozen sides that are really the top 6: Newcastle, Villa, Spurs, Liverpool, Manchester City, and Arsenal. And I don't care about the rest at all. And I include Chelsea and Man United. They are not going to be in the top 6.
Mm.
Not good
Well,
enough.
we'll have definitely on the next show. Obviously, we'll have had this weekend's fixtures um, and
Well, it's 2 matches. It's a big time now, isn't it? And of
it
course,
is.
I mean, this week with the football, the Champions League that's just gone, that the last round of the Champions League, witnessed a travesty for Newcastle. Absolutely ridiculous decision.
Yeah, yeah,
That is never a penalty, and it's clear in law. It actually says in law, if it's deflected or played by a player, he kicks the ball or plays the ball and he bangs onto his arm after touching it elsewhere, it's not handball. It's absolutely clear. So the problem we've got at the moment is UEFA seem to have one set of laws for handball, and the Premier League's got another.
and that's where it becomes really frustrating for
Fans,
fans and
yeah,
players.
and we've hardly had any VAR at all this week. Well, okay, we've had VAR, but the Spurs Man City game next to none. The earlier game on Sunday next to none.
Yeah,
So if you're not having a lot of VAR, it's good because I think I was a big advocate of VAR, as you know, when it first was introduced. I've always said that goal line technology should be in everything because you've got to decide whether there's a goal being scored. But we're seeing handballs that are not in a million years handball. We've got fouls that are
Questionable.
orange. Yeah, they're orange. They're orange. These are orange fouls.
Yeah.
What was acceptable 40 years ago is just not today. And you've got players who are purposefully playing for these little. They flick the ball at someone's arm. You've got people sort of dragging their leg over a defender and falling over. It's becoming refereeing's becoming almost impossible at that level.
Yeah. I can see that. Actually, I did want to ask you a question, a footballing question. But before we do that, do you want to start with your first Who Am I?
Oh, this is really easy. This Who
Yeah,
Am I? I picked one.
that.
Yeah, I know. This one really is.
Okay.
So the first two clues aren't really going to help you much, but after that, it's pretty simple. Okay.
Okay.
I was born on the 8th of December, 1941. By the way, this is good quality toffee apple cider. No free advertising on YouTube.
Pass.
I thought you'd pass on that. But at least you know how old they are.
I do. So, question. There is talk that VAR is going to come in and start monitoring or making decisions or helping with decisions on corners and free kicks. What do you think of that? So it's going to be a lot more throughout the game if that happens.
Realistically,
they haven't said throw-ins, but they've said corners and free kicks.
The issue I've got with this is, so you're sort of springing this on me a little bit because I thought you were going to ask me about the sin bin.
But we did a sin bin one but
we haven't done the sin bin for the Premier League.
No,
that's a bit different. Right.
Yeah.
So with what you're asking me, so let's go back. Before I answer your question, let's go back a bit. So about 6 years ago, we got the goal line technology in to decide if a goal had been scored because that is the most important thing in a game of football. Nobody disagrees with that. Everybody knows the referee's watch works, except when Michael Oliver's watch didn't work at Aston Villa when they played Sheffield United a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
For a few seconds it didn't work, and sod's law, that's when it went in. But having said that, I think he should have gone to the monitor and he could have seen it across the line.
Okay.
But I'll forgive Ollie that. We'll just go back to everyone agreed that came in. I, like a lot of people, think VAR would be the way forward. The key issue with VAR, now it's got involved with lots of things. It's now changing the components and moving the goalposts, literally. So over the course of the first few years, we had once an issue where Man United were playing at West Ham. The Manchester United goalkeeper, it was quite a windy, swirly day at the London Stadium. The Manchester United goalkeeper kicked the ball out of play and it swerved back in. Manchester United ran up the other end and scored. Clearly the ball had gone out of play. Assistant referee couldn't see it because he's running down the line to keep up with Marcus Rashford. The referee's in the middle of the pitch. There's nowhere in the world he can be certain, even though it looked out. They've got no lines around the pitch. And therein's the next problem. They've got lines between the goalposts.
Yeah.
Not on the goal line, which to me makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I've said that also for a couple of years. So if VAR wants to get involved with making the game correct, the problem with making the game correct, fans will start thinking, why am I coming here on a Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock? I haven't got a bloody clue what time I'm going home. And in all honesty, that is the problem. A game of football should last.
that example you just gave about the ball going out of play,
Yeah,
that would have technically been a throw-in. Is that the one
yeah.
you mean?
But
Yeah.
Man United
Yes.
wouldn't have scored. Man United wouldn't have scored. West Ham probably wouldn't have lost.
But it's not but the new VAR is not going to be for throw-ins.
No, but they also want to bring in one for pitch side boundaries.
Okay.
So, if you're going to have VAR telling the referee, mate, that's wrong, it's a corner. Mate, hold on, there's a free kick here, you've missed that. Because the bloke in the studio sees something that if he was refereeing the game himself, he didn't see. And it wasn't a foul where it was so blatantly obvious a foul. We've got to have, if either you want autonomy or
Mm.
you want to be able to go and enjoy it. I don't think there's a mixture anymore. I think the problem with VAR, it's got to the extent now that we're so waiting for VAR to change the decision. You've got to the stage at the moment, and I'm not going to football matches, partially because I feel that the entertainment value may have gone out of it. Now, I'm not saying that it doesn't make great television.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that for a neutral fan to have seen the Spurs Chelsea game the other day, which was absolutely crazy with VAR,
Hmm.
didn't make for enthralling television, because it did.
Yeah.
However, if the referee, who happens in this case to be again Michael Oliver, so Ollie is one of the best referees in the country. I don't care what anybody else says; is 100% fact. Him and Tails are probably the two best referees in the country. Therefore, they're refereeing in Europe. You'll get people who might text in or write in or watch this and turn around and go, "No, you're talking garbage," but I'm not, because I know where they're ranked, and I know for a fact that these guys are the best. Now, some might say they're the best of a bad bunch,
Mm.
and I would never criticise referees in the sense of saying that they're rubbish at their job. What I would say is, because they're under so much scrutiny with VAR, some of them are using the caveat and, if you like, safety net. Well, if I've nosed this up, VAR will get me out of it. The problem
That
is with
doesn't
that.
always happen. We've seen that
No,
already.
yeah, but the problem is, really, if you want to go and referee a game, referee the game. If you're going to sit there and constantly get earache going, mate, you need to look at this, mate, you need to look at that, this, you've got to look at this, you've got, hold on a minute, I'm doing the lines. I would be, as a referee, quite frustrated.
Mm. Mm.
You know, it's irrelevant that you're getting paid 1,500 quid or 3 grand for doing the game if you're not a regular Prem ref. If you're doing that game, you're not caring about the money while you're doing it. You're caring about, is my performance acceptable? Am
Yeah.
I making the right decisions? Have I got the key MIs right, the key match incidents correct? Have I got control of the game? Does it look like I made the right decision, or am I having a stinker? Now, we all have a bad game.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Simon Hooper makes what most people would perceive to be a mistake at the end of the game, and he's castigated for that. But for 95 minutes, he was superb.
Mm.
Yet there isn't one player who played in that game who didn't misplace a pass. So I don't want to hear, well, he made a mistake. Let me tell you, do you know, in my honest opinion, what went through his head there, absolutely, and I know it's happened to me, and it's probably happened to 1,000 other refs. He's seen the foul. He's literally about to blow for the foul. Haaland puts the ball down and kicks the ball. And from Hooper's angle, he sees that Haaland's got the ball, and he can see Grealish, and he thinks that Grealish is offside. Forget
That's what I thought. Yeah.
about the assistant referee. He thinks
Yeah.
Grealish is already offside, so he's blown so that he doesn't have the problem of, well, he's played on, and then he's got to stop and give offside. So he stopped the game for that reason, and it went right through his head. Boom, boom, oh, he's off, and he blew, and he didn't probably even mean to blow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once
I
he
thought that.
blows,
He thought Grealish
once he
was
blows,
right.
even if it's the game stops.
Yeah.
And so if he then can't say, well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to blow. He probably did say that. He said calm a few times to Haaland, because Haaland turned around and said, have you seen the nits I've got in my hairdo?
He
But
was going mad at the end of the game.
he was, but Haaland, to be fair, he was crap yesterday. I can't really put it any other way. He didn't have a good game. Yes, he made the goal from a bad pass from Bissouma, but quite honestly, he had a pretty poor game. He never
Yeah.
actually had a good game against Spurs, to be fair. And
Mm.
I've said this for a while now. He's a fantastic finisher, yes. But when I compared him to Kane last season, Kane's miles better because Kane scores all sorts of goals and he contributes other than in the penalty area.
Yeah.
Haaland doesn't do much. He doesn't really do a lot if you think about it. He's pacier than Kane, yeah. Well, he should be. He's 8 years younger. But other than that, I wouldn't. I'd rather play against than Haaland than Kane.
Mm.
If it was me in my prime, absolutely.
Yeah.
I know Haaland would be
He's got the
faster than me,
strength on
but he's my size. I think you can bully Haaland. I really do.
maybe. Maybe.
I don't feel that with Kane. I think you can't bully Kane. I think with Haaland you can bully him because he does. He only really plays in the final third of the pitch.
Mm.
So if you're a centre half and the old-fashioned ones who didn't go up over the halfway line, you're going to get him. You're going to annoy him, and you
Yeah.
are going to annoy him.
Yeah.
And that's what you got to do with someone like that. Put him off his game. And yesterday he had a very, very good chance to score, and he missed. And you could kind of see it in his head. It's like, oh my God, what have I just done?
Yeah.
Because at their level, and not just Man City's, but Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal, all the top sides, your goal up's one thing, but a 2-goal gap makes a huge difference. It's very rare you lose from 2 goals up.
Yeah. Yeah.
You might do if you're the away team, but if you're at home 2-0 up, you don't usually lose, or 3-1 up, you don't usually lose. So therefore, that goal would have been really important for Manchester City. And I think when he missed it, he was a bit like, oh my God, here we go again.
Mm.
And, I got to give credit, but you're going back to your thing about VAR getting involved for corners. Well, every week somebody gets the ball wrong and it goes out for a goal kick when it's a corner and vice versa. Does it make it correct that VAR says you got this wrong? If it's
It leads to a goal if it's awarded as a
well,
corner and it
okay.
shouldn't,
So
and a goal is scored.
right, so if VAR says straight away, sorry Ollie, you got that wrong, mate. It's a corner, and it's 5 seconds. I can live with that.
Mm.
If they're going to start getting involved with fouls, the problem that you've got with this is, and this is very important, when you watch a game of football on the TV, you watch the ball. It's natural. You watch
Yeah.
where the ball is. When I'm watching a game, quite frequently I watch the referee. But when you're at a stadium watching the game, and there's no fan that will lie about this, they'll all say the same thing. Your mind wanders. You look around the stadium. You look at the bird who's walking down there with throwing peanuts at someone. You don't. You just
You're
look at
distracted.
everything else. You do. Your mind wanders. So
Yeah.
for a split second, you can miss something. And the
Mm.
point I'm getting at is, if you're going to have VAR having overall looking at the pitch, they might see something of two players pushing each other on the edge of a penalty area after the ball's cleared by the goalkeeper, and go back. There's a foul there, but it isn't really a foul because it's something that's accepted in the game that you would just play on. You wouldn't even worry about it. Unless they
Yeah.
get a right hook, that's totally different, yeah? So if you're talking about stopping the game for minimal fouls, then no, don't want it.
It's going to be interesting because then if you're going to do that, how is a referee going to play advantage?
Well, again, this goes back to the next problem. So, in my opinion, the top six that are currently the top six, yeah. Add Chelsea, Man United, Brighton, and whoever else might be in the top 10. I'm not sure. Maybe it's Chelsea. I don't know. If you take those 10 sides as comfortably being the top 10 sides in England, and with the greatest respect in the world to all the others, West Ham and Palace and Brentford, who are sort of mid-table sides, and your usual mob at the bottom, who are the ones who just got promoted and the 2 or 3 struggled from the year before.
Mm.
If you're going to manipulate games by getting involved, big sides playing small sides, you're not, in my opinion, the big sides are always going to get the advantage here. I think when Manchester United are at home, the referee, I don't care who they are, must feel the pressure of being in front of 75,000.
Yeah,
Must do.
yeah, yeah.
Liverpool have made their ground bigger. Tottenham's is 60 odd, 63,000. West Ham's is 60,000. You know, surprisingly enough, for a club like Chelsea, who've overspent and are obviously bound to get caned on this new system, I just saw it today. They reckon that the Premier League are going to come down on Man City and Chelsea quite heavily.
Wow.
Well, that's what it looks like. It's on the on X, so we'll
Okay.
see. But when you look at the bigger clubs with the massive stadia, I know when I referee, if I referee in front of 20 people or 200 people, there's a lot more of a buzz in front of 200.
It's a big difference.
Refereeing in front of 1,000, you feel it.
Yeah, yeah.
So refereeing in front of maybe you're at Luton one week, which has got 10,000, and next week you're at, I'm just picking it, at Chelsea, you've got 40,000, and the week after you're at Man United with 75,000. It's a hell of a difference.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think there is a little bit that you get kind of caught up with it a little bit in where you are. I think that's fair. I think it's human nature. I can't say that it's not something that you could expect. It's understandable. You know, going to referee at a park, nobody watching, and I make a decision, someone disagrees, I go, well, who cares what you think, mate? I'm the ref.
Mm.
You know, everyone can hear that if they're listening.
Yeah,
You
makes
go
a
and
big
say that to 75,000 people at Old Trafford, and some guy turns around, a player runs up to you and says, you're having a stinker, ref. I go, well, I don't care. You're a load of crap too. But because that's the way I am. I don't. If someone has a pop at me, I have a pop at them. I've always been that way. But what I'm getting at is, in front of 75,000 people, nobody hears that.
Mm.
You're under different pressure. With VAR, I think that the people that do VAR, I don't necessarily think they contribute to the referee's help. For example, midweek Champions League, I thought the fellow who did the Newcastle game had an absolutely outstanding game until that decision.
Until that one, yeah.
Right? Now, that decision was an absolute joke. It's deflected from the player onto his arm. And his arm's not up here, it's here by his side. So he's not a penalty in any walk or form at all.
Yeah.
No way is it a pen. But he felt the pressure because PSG attack for 89 minutes, 60 odd thousand at the great game. He felt the pressure. And then what happens is he's not given a penalty because he's acted what he believes is correct. And some knobhead on VAR, he's turned around and said, no, that's not right. And he now feels that his mate, who's got a better view of it, has made the correct decision. So now he's questioning himself while he goes over to the monitor. When he gets to the monitor, he's got the guy in the ear saying, well, it's clearly hit his hand, which it has.
Yeah, but
It's deflected.
yeah,
And the whole point of the deflection is he didn't play it on purpose, therefore it's not handball. And his arm wasn't a million miles above his head. So consequently, the referee should have turned around and said to VAR, mate, you do know the laws say if it's deflected, it's not handball. I'd have told him to STFU, but that's me. Because I can't stand being overruled by anybody at anything, but that's me.
why did he wield into that pressure?
Well, I just answered that because he's got 60 odd thousand people at the game. He's got a numbnut in the studio. He's telling him it's handball. The other assistant numbnuts going, yeah, it's handball. He's got 15 million people, 25 million people watching it in France. He's got 250 million people watching it around Europe. In his head, for a split second, he's thinking, I better give a penalty. So he took the chicken's way out and gave a penalty.
Very bad, very bad.
On the game the day after, which Stephanie refereed, she's got a game between Bayern Munich, who've already qualified, and Copenhagen. Now, Bayern Munich attacked solidly, I think, the whole game. They should have been given a penalty in the last minute because the ball hits the underside of the guy's arm first and then deflects onto his body.
Mm.
Under the laws, that should be handball today. But under my head, in my head, and under my laws, there's no way in the world that is a penalty because there is no effort to play it with his hand. It's hit the tricep, at the bottom of the tricep. There's
Yeah,
no
I
way
would
that's
never have given
handball.
it a penalty. I never imagined it would they'd say it was.
So she stood by a decision because they sent her to the monitor, and she's obviously turned around and went, "What? I'm sticking with my decision."
Yeah.
The simple thing is here, which is frustrating, is where is there a clear and obvious error? So it says in their stupid text, clear and obvious. In the first instant, the referee doesn't give a penalty because he believes it's a double contact and therefore not a penalty.
Mm.
The assistant who's in the VAR box turns around and says it's a penalty. Now, between the time he's told this and he's walking to the monitor has got to be at least a minute.
Yeah.
Because he's got a buzzer in his ear and the bloke says, hold the game, hold the game, hold the game. That's what he's told.
Okay.
In that 30 seconds, you've got all the attacking team going, it's a penalty, it's a penalty. And all the defenders going, it's not a penalty, it's not a penalty. And the referee's going, shush, I'm trying to hear. You can always hear him going like that, right?
Mm.
So, in that moment, for me, the nearest assistant referee who's flagged the lino, whichever's the nearest one, should be watching the players.
Mm.
And the referee needs to walk slowly towards the monitor, keeping the players in view. Because he knows he's going to be going to the monitor and he needs to be able to say as he's walking, not have the players near him, what have you seen that I haven't, rather than why have you asked to stop the game? Because I don't believe there's a penalty here. At which point, if the guy then turns around and says, you've missed a clear handball first, in his head he's thinking, okay, maybe I didn't see something, I want to see it. Whereas if he sees the same incident he already awarded no penalty for, he should turn around and go, I gave no penalty, I've not made a clear and obvious error, I'm sticking with my decision.
Yeah. Yeah.
As soon as they go like this, everyone's going, yay, because he knows he's going to go and give a penalty.
Yeah. You know when they go to the monitor that they 99% of the time they change their...
Yeah. And so this week, I didn't witness, I got to be honest with you, I haven't witnessed the game between, was it Palace and Wolves? Who was it playing Wolves?
Yeah, I think it was Palace and Wolves.
On Monday. Fulham and Wolves? Fulham, not Palace,
Oh,
Fulham.
Yeah, that's right.
I didn't witness the game, but I have seen the incidents subsequently afterwards. For the life of me, I have no idea what. I don't even know why one of them was a penalty.
Mm.
Looked like he fell over himself, but look, if you're going to have a system where everything is scrutinised to the extent that it's the slightest of touches, and all these players now falling over as if they've been hit by Mike Tyson in his prime.
Yeah.
You know, I'm 6'4.5". If somebody hits me, they're going to have to really hit me to knock me down, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, to knock me down, not just make me stumble or take a step backwards. They're really going to have to hit me.
Mm.
If I'm running at 25 miles an hour like Bale used to do, and somebody touches you, that touch is enough to knock you over because you lose your balance.
Of course, because you've got
Fair
that
enough.
momentum.
But
Yeah.
to stand up to somebody and suddenly fall flat on your face because somebody's touched your toe, do me a favour.
It's a wussy thing. It's a really...
Yes,
it really is.
I'd get a lot worse than that. It absolutely does my head in. So I don't believe, gut feeling, I don't believe that the players are helping the situation. I really believe a lot of them are out of their way to kick the ball at another player's hands.
Mm.
I think the referee at the moment is under so much scrutiny. Understandably, they're a bit nervous about making decisions because they think, well, if I make one and I balls it up, everyone's going to have a go at me.
Yeah.
If I don't make it, I can get out of it and go, oh, hold on a minute, VAR's just said I've missed something.
Yeah. Well, I personally, I don't want them to bring it in, for more than it already is, because it doesn't even work well for a lot of the games, when it's doing what it's doing now. So to add more in there where more errors can happen, I just think it's a mess.
Well, I made the comment at the beginning about why do I not go to games and what have you. So, as you're well aware, some of the games take place at odd times. So, last weekend, Saturday night, there was a game at 8 o'clock. If you're an away fan, and we're going to pick fairly here, okay? You're a Sheffield United fan, so Sheffield is 70 miles, 80 miles from Newcastle. It's probably similar, about, 50, 60, 70, 80 bracket for the Liverpool, Manchester area. They can cover all those clubs. Burnley, yeah?
Yeah.
If you come down from Sheffield, sort of 70 or 80 miles, you're probably hitting Milton Keynes, so not particularly near any of the rest of the clubs. So if you're an away fan who wants to go to one of those games, you're getting the train, and you've got an 8 o'clock kickoff. And for example, Sheffield United are playing away. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll pick Aston Villa. There we go. So it's Birmingham, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know exactly. So because I'm the sort of person that likes to be exact, I am now going to tell you exactly how far it is from Sheffield United Football Club to Aston Villa. I'm going to hazard a guess, 100 miles, but I don't know, right?
Okay.
So this is Sheffield United Football Club. I'm just punching it in on my thing here. Sheffield United. It shouldn't be in the Premier Division anyway. Bramall Lane, that'll do. Aston Villa. And how far? I said it's 100 miles, yeah? It might be a fraction more. We'll see. Okay. Well, it's 84 miles. There you go.
Okay.
So when I said about 80 miles from Sheffield, you cover into a circle. That covers Liverpool, Everton, Man United, Man City, Burnley. 5 clubs over there. Newcastle is 6. We're talking about Premier League sides, yeah.
Yeah.
And they can get to Birmingham for Villa, Wolverhampton. We called it there about that as well. So half the Premier League sides they can get to in 85 mile radius, yeah. If you're taking a train trip to go to that game with your kids or whatever, because maybe you haven't got a car or you're going to have a couple of drinks, you're not driving, you take the train. You've got an 8 o'clock kickoff. You want to get there at 7 o'clock because you like to get there on time. Your train's there. The train you need to get back home leaves at 10:45. 8 o'clock kickoff, yeah? So 8:45 is 45 minutes. 15 minutes for half time in the Prem is 9 o'clock. 45 minutes second half, 9:45. 5 minutes of injury, 9:50. Fair enough?
Okay.
Right. Currently, those games are now ending at 10 o'clock. Close to 10 o'clock, yeah?
Yeah.
So all you need is VAR to stick its nose in, like the Spurs-Chelsea game, which I believe in Premier League history had the most injury time so far. I believe it did.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was 9 minutes in the first half and 12 in the second. So 21 minutes in total. I think it's the most so far. Now, if that's an 8 o'clock game and you've got 21 minutes of VAR and injury time, and you're the away fan that can't leave because you're locked in until the end of the game, what time does the game allow you to get out the door?
Well, it's going to be more like 10:30 or later, 10:50,
Well,
10:45.
If you add the 20 minutes to the 105 you've definitely got, you've got 2 hours and 6 minutes if it's 21 minutes, right? So you're looking at 6 minutes past 10, the game finishes. By the time you've applauded your team or whatever, it's 10 past 10. The gates let you out at 20 past 10. Now, your train's at 10:45. and it's not outside Manchester United's ground waiting for you. It's not. It's not. What do you call it? That
Yeah,
little
you got
blue
to get
one.
to the station. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's not. It's not. What's that little Tom? It's not Thomas the Tank Engine waiting outside, is it? No. It's public transport to get to the station for you to get the train that gets you back to where you live. Now, in all honesty, that is an hour and a half, hour and 3/4 drive, possibly. Well, 2 hours if you allow for the traffic when you're leaving. But you've gone by train, and that's the last train, 10:45.
Yeah. You're
So
stuck.
if you now bring in all these other stoppages, and you have a hectic game like the Spurs Chelsea game, and maybe you've got a serious injury.
Mm.
You know, a player gets injured, he's knocked unconscious, or he's broken his leg, and by
Or
the time they've
somebody,
got
or a fan. We've had that happen before. Lots of fans.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So all of a sudden, we've got a game of football that started at 8 o'clock, and honestly, through no fault of anybody's, but it just accumulation of everything else. It's now 10:30 when the game's finished,
Mm.
and you might have been brilliantly entertained, but you're sitting there thinking, "How are we getting home?"
Yeah.
So that
Like you
is a
think they
key
have
issue.
kids with you.
That is a key issue. You
Mm.
know, the longest journey in the Prem this season, I believe, is Brighton or Bournemouth to Newcastle. Yeah.
Mm.
So for teams like Aston Villa, they're laughing because they're about 85, 90 miles, whichever way they go, to a game of football.
Mm.
They're in the perfect spot. So the teams around Birmingham have got the shortest journeys over the season. Yeah. But obviously the teams in London, because there's so many of them, they only have to cross over the road, sort of thing. So you know it is a bit different. But we've got train strikes now, haven't we?
Yes.
Yesterday, this week. Their matches on Tuesday and Wednesday this week. Won't have any trains. So
Mm.
if you're going to a game, you have no choice. You either go on the coach or you go on the car.
Yeah. Yeah.
So do you want to go to a game of football now that's lasting 2.5 hours? Because it's getting, I mean, you know where I live. To go to a Spurs game, just pick a normal Spurs game, and Tottenham's never been the easiest ground to get to.
Mm.
So from where I am, if I go straight down the A1, round the M25 and down the A10, I can be in Tottenham hour and a half,
Okay.
and a quarter, hour and a half. I've got to park the car. If the game goes on and at 8 o'clock kickoff, I want to be there 7:30 at the latest, let's say. But if
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
leave home at 6 o'clock, I don't get to Tottenham at 7:30. I've got
Not
to
in
leave
rush
at 5
hour.
o'clock. I've got to leave at 5 o'clock and get to Tottenham about 7ish, 7:15 because of the traffic and rush hour.
Yeah.
So if I leave at 5, I get to the game. Maybe I'm getting some food, whatever it is. After the game finishes, it's 10 o'clock. By the time I'm home, it's 11:30.
Mm.
I've been gone for 6.5 hours, 7 hours. If you
Yeah.
think about it, 7 hours, that's for a lot of people, that's like going to work.
Day's work. Yeah.
People do 9 till 5 and they get an hour for lunch. I don't know what a lunch break is. I never get one. But
Yeah.
but by definition, it's like a day's work. So you may have a guy who works in the morning job. He starts work at 6 in the morning. He finishes or 7 in the morning. He finishes at 3 in the afternoon. And he goes, "See you tomorrow, lads. I'm off to the Spurs game." And he leaves there, goes home, changes, off he goes at 4 o'clock, gets home 11:30 at night time. And he's had 2 days. He feels like he's done 2 days' work. He went
He's
to go
back in at work the next morning. Yeah.
That's part of the reason why I stopped going. I'm quite sure if Mickey or one of the Spurs lads I know says, "Look, I've got tickets. Do you want to go?" It's the right time. I probably would go.
Yeah.
And watching the football Spurs are playing has been very, very entertaining this year. Thankfully, a lot better than the dross we've put up with for the previous 4.5 years.
Mm.
We don't want any more Chelsea managers back at Tottenham, ever. Ever. But we have to think about what it is, not just for people like me who have a car and can get from A to B and maybe get special tickets where I can get in and out the stadium more easily, What about the people who are Joe Blogs who don't have a car and they live 20 minutes from a station to start with, yeah? And they want to take the train and they live in a village maybe 20 minutes from a train station where they have to get a mate or a cab to take them to the train station. Then they got the train to get to Liverpool Street. Then they get from Liverpool Street to White Hart Lane or Bruce Grove or Northumberland Park, whichever one they want to go to. And then they walk to the stadium, which is a minute. But they got to come back and do the same thing. And at night time, they can't get back because there's no cab at the station to take them home. You know, it's and that's just me picking Tottenham as an example, which isn't the most accessible.
It is
There's lots of clubs. Pardon?
It is a mess. It is a real mess. And then you add on all that VAR stuff that they want to introduce, and you know, people are going to have issues.
Well, I think the biggest problem that we've got with VAR, first of all, it's not uniformed, so it needs to be across the world. At the end of this season, the representatives for each of the federations needs to sit down and go, right, this is handball, this isn't. That's the first thing that's got to be done, because the handball rule, as it's called, the handball law, but the rule within the handball, double strike is not handball. It's got to a stage now that the managers don't want it, the players don't want it. The fans are sick and tired of stop, start. But my friend turns around and my daughter said to me the other day, she said, Daddy, why don't you like rugby? They use VAR in rugby.
Yeah, they do. Have done for years and years.
Right, but rugby is so slow. And she said to me, no, it's not. I said, yes, it is, darling, because they don't kick the ball 70 yards in one hit. It's not bang, bang, and 70 yards the ball's gone. They play rugby and throw the ball to each other down a line that goes backwards as it goes forwards, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's much easier to see each phase of pass and tackle than it is to see, because it's one thing right at the time, yeah? It's not the same as football in that respect. And when it's a try, and sometimes there's a dispute over whether he crossed the line or not, that's when VAR steps in. It doesn't give you an answer. It goes and looks at it a few times from different angles, quite rightly.
Yeah.
Because in rugby, whether a try's being scored is the same as whether a goal's being scored in football.
Yeah.
So they take their time and they reach the decisions. And the people who play rugby are very respectful of the referees predominantly. They don't sort of shout effing and blinding at the referee. You never see that in rugby.
No,
but
never.
what you do see are hooligans beating the crap out of each other legally. And if you go outside a football stadium and punch somebody like some of them do, you get arrested and thrown inside, because it's bodily harm, isn't it? So it's grievous bodily harm in some cases. So in rugby, they get away with it for some reason. So I've always said it's a game played by thugs, and I won't change my mind about it. They might be well spoken, but they're still thugs. Whereas football,
I like rugby. I do like rugby.
But look, they're respectful for the
Then
referee.
what about boxing and wrestling and all those kind of things?
But hold on a minute, if you're going to box, there's no boxer out there that goes out there and doesn't think they're going to get walloped. Every boxer's going to get punched.
Yeah.
Right, but you know that before you start. You don't expect in rugby, you're running with the ball and a guy gives you a right hook and knocks you out.
No, but that is very rare. It doesn't happen like every game.
No, it happens regularly enough that they get punched. Players get punched and eyes gouged and punched in the guts in the scrum and stuff. That happens regularly. You know it does. It does. Don't say it doesn't. And when there's a 50-50 bust up, it's not little Joe Blogs on the wing who's doing it. It's all the beefy hookers and meatballs who are doing it, who've got to let off their testosterone because they've all got little penises. But, I mean, you know, but that's rugby for you. Now, some people like that.
Yeah.
I don't. I just think it's a load of rubbish, and I don't enjoy it. And rugby league, which for me has always been the standout of the two rugbies. Although they don't kick the ball very much, they are really, really fit, these guys. You know, they really are super fit. To tackle at the pace they tackle at.
Oh, rugby league is,
Phenomenal. But I go back to my point, it's rugby. and I don't have a lot of time for rugby. And really sorry to all the people that I've offended if you like rugby, but you can't like everything. You
No,
know, the last World Cup was on, and I truthfully watched 11 minutes in total of all of what
but
was on.
did you like American football?
Love American football.
So what's the difference
Huge
other than
difference.
a helmet and some shoulder pads?
Well, first of all, the ball goes forwards.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. That's a big difference. So in rugby, I mean, you do. I'm not saying that you don't get it in American football because it actually happened last night. There was a game that finished 6-0. Was the biggest pile of shite that they've had all season. And nobody, I don't think anybody stayed. It was so bad. It
Is
was
that bad?
horrendous. Yeah. But with American football, unlike rugby, you can have a team in rugby that dominates another team, and you get it a lot in rugby. Other than the big sides playing each other, rugby's pretty piss poor. Let's be fair. You know, England plays against Namibia. I didn't even know they played rugby, right? And they win by 50 points. Everyone goes, "Oh, we're on England, great! Christ Almighty, anybody can beat Namibia." Yeah, they're rubbish, right? So when they play the big teams against each other, it's a much closer game. In American football, you can get more of an upset in American football than you can in rugby. It's not an upset if England wins a game of rugby or South Africa wins a game of rugby against New Zealand. It's not an upset. It's, oh, well, they're quite level matched. It's an upset if, for example, I don't know, Japan was to beat New Zealand. That would be an upset, yeah?
Which
But in
they did.
American football, huh?
Which they did.
Did they?
Yeah, not this World Cup. Was it last World Cup or the one before? They
I have
did.
no idea. Probably New Zealand well, the girls' team probably. But you know, when you get American football, you get shock results. Last night, Kansas City, the Chiefs lost at the Packers last night, and that was quite a surprise.
Was that the 6-0 game?
No. The game. So my lot won a game this week. Funny enough. Yesterday, this is no word of a lie. So they have the channel which does the NFL on 401, the Sky Sports normal channel, yeah. But yesterday there was a game between the New England Patriots, and the Los Angeles Chargers, finished 6-0, yeah.
Oh, blimey. Well, I don't think I've seen a scoreline or heard of a scoreline that low.
That bad? No, that is low. I remember a couple of years ago was another one very similar in Buffalo, but the snow was so bad you couldn't even see the lines. I don't know why they played.
They play in the snow as well, don't they? When it's snowing or when it's on the ground.
Yeah, but they stopped yesterday. One of the games I was watching, that got stopped because of the weather. But yesterday, I mean, there was a couple of meaty wins yesterday. The biggest one was the San Francisco 49ers winning yesterday. They beat the Eagles 42-19. Eagles had only lost one game all season.
Wow.
And the Niners were a good side, but Philadelphia got half their second row missing and, you know, the linebacker, that stuff. So, you know, it's like Tottenham, they got half their players missing, you're going to struggle. So, and they did. I mean, San Francisco was superb last night. But there were some good games yesterday. And the thing is with that, American football's been designed to be a seesaw game. That's the difference. With rugby, it's not seesaw. With rugby, one team can dominate quite easily. You know, when you get a rugby game that's, I don't know, 25-24, that would be like a normal American football game. But they're few and far between in rugby. Usually in rugby, most often I see the results and whoever wins.
Yeah, you have one more. Yeah, you do.
It's not 2 or 3 points usually. It's usually sort of 10, 15 points that they win by quite easily.
Yeah.
And not in the last minute either, like a lot of American football games. When you get to the last 2 minutes, you get to the 2-minute warning, and one team's on the attack and they might need a field goal to take the lead, and they might get it. And then you get the last 45 seconds where the other team's got to get another field goal to win the game. It gets really exciting. Whereas in rugby, it just goes off the ball, which you do get in football as well, to be fair. If you're winning 4-0 like Arsenal did, they won in the Champions League last week. I think they were 5-0 up at half time. I didn't watch the football last week, but clearly, they're a darn sight better than Lens, because most French teams are pretty poor,
Yeah.
and they obviously played really well the first half, Arsenal. But you know,
I
those
know.
games, the fans are very excited. But at half time, I mean, you could basically go home.
Yeah. May as well.
Well, you do, because the thing is, if Arsenal would have needed to win, say, 9-0 or by 9 goals to qualify for the next round, the
Yeah. That.
second half would have still been exciting.
Yeah.
But very often, when a team's 4 or 5 goals up at half time, foot comes off the gas. The half time team talk is, well done, lads. You can take it a little bit easier. Don't get injured. We've got a big game at the weekend, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you end up making it like a testimonial.
Mm,
And the other team who's getting hammered 5-0 doesn't really want to commit because they don't want to get injured,
mm, yeah.
which you do get. And that's why very often when you see these things 4 or 5, when it's 2-0 at half time, different, but 5-0 at half time,
Yeah. Yeah.
very seldom is it more than 6 or 7. They don't go and get 5 or 6 in the second half usually. One of the things that I always advocated, that when I played, if we were 5 up at half time, I used to set them a target of doing the same thing in the second half.
Yeah, that'd be good. Okay, we are coming up to 35-minute mark. So, how about another Who Am I?
35? We've been going an hour.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
Okay, I'm going to give you 2 clues because time. So I played 1 professional cricket match for Essex, but I played most of my career for 1 London club.
not Ian Botham, is it? Why are you looking at me like that? I don't know any cricketers.
Beefy's not born in 1941.
No?
He'd be 82 next week, this geezer.
Oh, God. Well, I don't know then.
Beefy's not 82. Do me
Can
a
I-
favour.
Can I claim the donut title now?
Do you work for Greg's?
Greg's? No, they don't do donuts. Do they do donuts?
I think you find most of the people working there are. Sorry to anybody who does actually work for Greg's, but it's not far off the truth.
All right. Okay. Essex.
So no, Beefy's. I think he was born in 1955.
Okay.
I think, and he's a lord now.
Is he?
Yeah, he's lord.
Oh, I didn't
He's
know
Lord
that.
Beefy. He's Lord Beefy. I promise you.
I didn't even know that. Did not know that.
Yeah, he is. I'm going to just double check when he's born. I'm pretty sure that he's Sir IT. Well, he's Lord IT. Both of them. I'm sure. I'm not wrong. Have you disappeared on me? No.
Oh, I'm here. I'm
Ian
waiting.
Terence Botham,
Yes.
otherwise known as Baron Botham.
Oh, Baron. He's not a lord then.
He was a lord. He's become a baron because he's always making wine.
What?
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
That doesn't
Ian
make
Terence
sense.
Botham, Baron Botham OBE, is an English cricket commentator, member of the House of Lords, a former cricketer who's been chairman of Durham County Cricket Club since 2017, and a charity fundraiser. He was voted British Sports Personality of the Year. Right, voting record for Lord Botham, members of Parliament. We want to know all this stuff, right? Lord Botham, he's definitely a baron now, but he has his own wine business in Australia.
Oh, okay. Well, good for him.
So there you go. So you wanted to know? Now you know.
Okay. Cool.
Right, I'm gonna part 4 of my Who Am I? I was awarded an MBE.
So he's a sir somebody.
Okay,
No, OBE is a sir, isn't it?
is it?
MBE is a... No, MBE is a sir. OB is the other one.
What are you talking about?
The
It goes
other-
MBE, OBE, CBE.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. MBE is a sir.
You can be a sir if you're an OBE.
I thought that's like a dame or is that a CBE then?
CBE.
Oh,
Here's the thing, you know me, all this CP, not CP, PC stuff, yeah?
mm,
I can't get this. I don't get it, right? So, if you're a reporter and you're female, what do they call you?
a reporter.
Do they call you a female reporter?
No, just a reporter.
Right. If you're a commentator
Yeah,
on the football night BBC, are you female commentator or commentator?
they always say female commentator.
Aha!
They do.
Hold on a mo. Remember this.
Yes.
Now, because this really gets on my thrupnies. Right. Okay. When England play football, what does England football have on their chest?
3 lions.
3 lions on my shirt. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. What are the English women called who play football?
The lionesses.
Okay. Why are the English women called lionesses? Because they do not have fleeces on their shirt.
I'm
Hold that
presuming.
thought.
Oh,
Hold
okay.
that
Okay.
thought.
Okay. Okay.
So, pick a very famous actor.
Oh God, I don't know. Brad Pitt.
Okay. Brad Pitt, famous actor.
Yeah.
Now pick a famous female one.
Julia Roberts.
Okay. Why is she an actor when she's an actress?
No, they actually call them actors now, female.
Why?
I don't know because of all the politics.
Exactly. Do you know what the word that rhymes with ollocks and has got a B in front of it? That's what it all is. So here's the thing. The women want to be lionesses, but wear a lion on their shirt.
Yes.
A woman wants to be the same, but she's a female commentator.
Yes.
We want to have an actor, but she can't be an actress anymore because some idiot said she should be an actor, but she's not an actor because that's male and an actress is female. So why is it? What we got to? What?
I know it makes no sense. It doesn't.
Anybody over the age of 40 is probably screaming at this computer or getting a gun out and thinking, "You're so right, Steve. We should murder everybody for driving us mad." I couldn't agree more. Like, I'm so not
I
PC.
don't disagree with you on that one. To be
Yeah,
fair,
let's just stick that PC right where the sun don't shine.
it
Right.
just I agree because it's not even like
And women commentators. So here's the thing: there was one on the TV the other day, and one of the ex-professional managers turned and said, "I can't listen to women commentators on football talking
Oh.
about on men's football."
Okay.
And he was castigated because they said it was sexist.
Okay.
What he was trying to say was, and I understood it immediately, a woman commentator, when she describes football, does not sound as good as a male commentator does when he describes football.
Oh.
No. I know you're going to disagree with me a minute. Bear with me a minute.
I'm only disagreeing with you from a personal because I am a
Right.
female commentator.
But it's not you, it's the sound. And the reason it is this is
Okay.
because a woman's voice, the pitch of a woman's voice is a lot higher.
Yeah.
When you listen to Sky at the weekend, they have the everyone at a ground, yeah? You can, if you don't even watch the telly, but just listen to it, the moment you get a male one on and he screams that there's been a goal, you can really feel, goal! Yeah? But the woman screams goal and she goes, goal! It just doesn't sound right. And that's
I
what
did not do that.
that's where it comes across as. There's a couple of them that do that. So consequently, he was saying that it just doesn't sound right.
Okay.
And he's been told that he's a sexist, misogynist, or whatever, because he was trying to point out that it just doesn't sound the same.
Okay.
Right.
But that's. I don't think we want to sound the same as a female
Well,
commentator.
No,
I
but
don't
when
want to
women-
sound the same.
No, and I know, right? But if you have women doing gymnastics in the Olympics, do you want to hear a male commentator talking about them or a woman?
Yeah, It wouldn't bother me.
Well, it sounds better when a woman talks about gymnastics, because the women who do the gymnastics are it's a very feminine. A lot of the things are very feminine. Some of the stuff those girls do, they're so bendy, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're little girls and they're really bendy, and it's just a bit girly, if you like. Blokes shouldn't be doing that kind of commentary. Sorry, it just
They
doesn't
do
sound
have
right.
male commentators on the gymnastics.
On the men's stuff, but
No,
when
no,
they do,
no.
they
I
do
think
talk on the women's as well. I know, and
yeah,
I'm
they
just
do.
thinking, mate. But they're all the gay ones, to be fair, so it doesn't really matter here. Don't get me started on that, yeah?
We're gonna
That's
get
another story.
bad. We're gonna get bad.
No, don't
I
get me
have to
started on that.
say, I
Yeah.
do not scream when I'm commentating. Oh well, when I'm commentating on football.
No, because when a woman screams, that's the point. When there's some excitement in a game, and when you're watching it live, and I screamed at the telly yesterday when we scored, and my wife nearly hit me, yeah? And she says, "Why are you screaming at the telly when I'm here? You only do it because I'm here." I go, "Darling, if you weren't here, I'd still scream at the telly. You being here is a complete irrelevance when Tottenham's on the telly." I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that all of my friends, when they're watching their team on the telly and they score a goal, they don't sit there and go, "Oh, well done, boys." They don't do that.
Congratulations.
Yeah. What a wonderful goal. They don't do that. They scream their heads off, because
I've got to
that
say,
moment.
I'm very I'm very enthusiastic when I do commentate on the basketball, but I wouldn't say I scream, because I think it's different because it's so fast paced. You don't have that, if one end scores a basket, you don't have that time to scream because
No.
they're running up
But
down
if
the
there
other.
was 1 second left and the team had just let in a basket and it's just dropped, and the bloke throws it from one end of the court to the other and it goes in the basket, and they've gone from winning the game to losing the game to winning the game in the space of about 5 seconds,
Yeah,
you would be screaming, because you go, "Oh, wow, what a basket!" You couldn't help yourself, because that's exactly what you should be doing.
yeah,
Because the public want to feel not only your enthusiasm, but they want to feel, "Wow, that was an emotional roller coaster."
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
when I listen to a couple of these women doing Division One games, and I'm thinking, she's sitting there, she's more concerned about her bloody makeup. I can't
Well,
understand
that
what
is
they
so
have on.
true. It is absolutely so true. It's what you bring to your commentary. Because I get a load of listeners. I mean, like
You've
loads
got
of
a couple of
listeners,
dogs at the moment.
and the dogs. With the basketball, because I think because I am so enthusiastic and I do bring the game to life commentating.
Yeah.
I don't so much with the football, but it's different for me. I love the basketball, so
So, but therein's my point. Your enthusiasm for the basketball.
yeah,
I know you can't just, obviously, having played basketball, I understand, but if a guy just gets the ball and he's 3 foot away from the basket and he just lobs it up and puts it in, he goes, "Oh, there's a 2-pointer from Figer," you just go, "Well done." You can't really say much else. If I jump up and slam dunk it in, you go, "Oh, that's another 2 points with a slam dunk for Figer." That's all, as much as you're going to say, yeah? When it's something fantastic that happens, as I just said to you last second, and I've seen it happen, guy chucks it from one end of the court to the other and it goes in. I mean, it's so rare to do it. But
yeah, yeah,
imagine that you do it and you win the game from it. You jump out your seat because you're witnessing. It's historical, really, if you think about it. It's so rare to happen that it's astonishing. So when something like that happens, naturally, your enthusiasm shines through. But
yeah,
with
yeah,
football, it's not. You can't really get that excitement, because with basketball, it's end to end all the time. Again, it's typical American sport. It's centered around
to be, yeah,
both
yeah,
sides. But yes, it's tick tack, tick tack, tick tack. That's what it's
yeah,
supposed to be.
yeah,
When you get a game between two very level sides of basketball in the States, and you get 110, 109, you watching a brilliant game, because all the way through the points are very close.
mm,
And they get excited, especially the male commentators, because it's so to and fro, especially near the end of the game, which is a good way of entertaining people. You've got to remember, there are people listening to that who are deaf. Who are blind, who can.
oh, it's a miracle.
you got the blind people listening, who
Yeah,
are
yeah,
on sort of bad sight, and that excitement, it helps them understand it because in their
yeah,
brain they're sort of watching the game backwards and forwards, you know.
yeah,
Whereas you've got deaf people watching it on the TV. They're looking at the TV, and because they can't hear unless they've got one of those they have these transponders that they have here, you know.
yeah, yeah,
Um, if they've got that, they can feel the vibration and at least understand that something's happening. But for a deaf person to watch or a blind person to listen, then the commentator, when they're listening to, and it's a blind person, obviously needs to really be enthusiastic and explain things clearly and paint a picture.
mm.
And I just felt that what he was trying to say was exactly that with the men, it comes across a lot better. And he got absolutely sloshed for it. And I just sit there thinking, what is the world coming to? I thought we had a country which was freedom of speech.
Well, I mean,
Evidently, we don't.
yeah, I mean, he's entitled to his opinion. He prefers a male commentator. There's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
He's allowed to
Yeah.
say that his preference.
I much prefer the page three models if they're still in the sun to be female. You know, I don't know. Is the sun still out? Is it still out
Well,
in the
not
papers?
really, not like that anymore. No, it's
Do they
still
still have the
around,
paper?
but huh?
Is the Sun newspaper still around?
Not really. No,
Huh.
hasn't been for a while.
Do you, well, if I'm totally honest with you, apart from the Racing Post, which I buy every year on Cheltenham and Grand National Week, I don't think I buy a newspaper
I
at
can't
all.
remember the last time I did. No.
I
Anyway,
don't go
give me
online, so
another
I don't go
question.
online.
Give
Hmm?
me another. Who am I?
Okay, yeah. I'm the last surviving member of this team.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's quite recent.
What's quite recent?
You must pay attention, darling.
No, no. What's quite recent? He's not died, is he? Because he's the last surviving member.
Well, that's why he hasn't died. The rest have.
Well, yeah. What recently?
Well, not all of them. I mean,
Okay.
I think one died about, oh, 20 years ago?
Oh bloody hell! Okay, that was a long time
I
ago.
think so. I might be wrong. I'm just checking. I don't know if this one was.
Okay.
Uh,
Well, while you're going on with the your
oh no, this
research,
one only died. This one only died 4 years ago. But this one, I think, died about 20 years ago. But I could be wrong.
right? Okay.
Oh no, that's the wrong person. That's not him.
Oh,
No, it's somebody else. That's him. Uh, he died. Well, it's coming up to 17 years ago. I think he was the youngest of the lot that died.
okay. 17 years ago.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, he was the youngest.
So I'm just going to quickly go on to the basketball very quickly because there's
Yeah.
not really much to talk about. They had a Saturday and a Sunday fixture, so double header again.
Yeah.
The first game on Saturday was against the Greenwich Titans, and the game on Sunday was a cup game against Nottingham Hoods. Both games got cancelled on the day. Greenwich, because
They got flooded on their boat.
the venue got double booked. I know. So it got
What,
cancelled.
Milton Keynes?
No. These both. No, Saturday was an away game at Greenwich, and Sunday was meant to be a home game. So,
Yeah, I think that was when the Armada. Oh no, Charlton Athletic might have been playing at home, so they might have been nicking their boat.
so literally just before tip off, it got cancelled because the venue was double booked, right? And then Sunday, the game at MK got cancelled because Nottingham were unable to travel because of the snow.
Snow?
I'm just
What
saying.
snow?
I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out
Not
there.
into Milton Keynes. Do you
I'm
have
just,
any idea how far Nottingham to Milton Keynes is?
I know, I'm just saying that is their
Right.
reason.
I reckon Nottingham to Milton Keynes is
It's been a
50
good
miles
geography
at
lesson.
most. 50 miles at most, yeah? I'm
Oh,
just
at
double checking.
most. Yeah.
I might be wrong. Jeez. It's 80 miles from Nottingham to Milton Keynes.
Okay. The
And it's
question
80 miles.
is,
It's 80 miles from Sheffield to. That can't be
just
right.
a minute. So the question is, did they have snow in Nottingham Saturday into Sunday?
I don't know. What am I, weatherman?
Well, you've been the geography man, so you may as well be the weatherman.
Well, I do know they had snow in some parts of the country up north because
They
one of
did.
my friends,
Cumbria,
she,
though. Cumbria.
huh?
They did.
Yeah,
Cumbria.
Cumbria had snow, and she said to me, "Oh, I've got friends in Cumbria, and they're getting snowed on like mad."
Mm,
Um, and my mate who lives in Essex said there was snow in Essex, and I'm
yeah.
thinking, okay, I'm over here. I didn't see any snow.
No. I think they had snow in Wales as well. So, yeah. But that was their
Well,
reason. So, no basketball at all last weekend. It was all cancelled.
oh,
And no AFC Dunstable, they had a fixture as well, but that got cancelled. Lots of games, obviously, local
did
games
it?
got
And
cancelled.
they played over the road from me here because they asked me to do a pitch inspection before on Saturday. And I had to
Yeah.
go to work, and I said, "Look," and I went outside, and I said, "My garden is 100 yards from me. It's soft enough underneath. To be fair, obviously, this time of year when it rains, I'm over the moon, yeah, because
Yeah.
I've got to do a bit of digging. I've got to get all the beams in before the ground gets like a rock.
Oh,
Fortunately, I
yeah,
finish work tomorrow early, so I should be a bit of digging tomorrow
yeah.
afternoon. Pictures to be sent on next week. Um,
Yeah.
of me digging. So, so yeah, I didn't realise it was that bad. Actually,
No, I did not in Nottingham. I didn't realise it was that bad. But yeah, they said
I like Nottingham. Have you ever been there?
I've been to the Centre Parks at Nottingham.
Yeah. Well, that's not in the middle of town, is it?
No, I've never been.
No.
I don't think I've ever been.
Nottingham's nice. Nottingham's a good spot for a weekend out. Good spot for a stag do or a what do they call it? A hen do?
Do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
I don't think.
Why do they call it a stag and a hen? I don't get that.
I don't know. I don't
I mean,
care.
if it's the cock and a hen, I could understand that. No,
Or a
but
stag and a doe. I can
yeah,
understand.
a stag
Yeah.
and a doe or a cock and a hen. But I don't get that.
No, I don't get it.
Right. I mean, but anyway, right. This bit is me being facetious, right?
Okay.
I was awarded a knighthood, but I'm certain I didn't deserve it.
You didn't deserve it.
No, not me. I didn't get a knighthood, did I? Not yet, anyway. I've been
Oh,
crowned. I've
whose
been
am
crowned a
I?
few times, but I haven't had a knighthood.
You mean the who am I?
Yeah.
Why didn't they deserve it?
Well, because the last part gives it away.
Oh, sugar. Problem is, I don't know any cricketers. At least, like, not from way back.
Not a cricketer.
It's not a cricketer.
No.
I thought you said he played for Essex.
He played one game for Essex.
Oh, okay. But he doesn't play cricket. Oh, is he a footballer then?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's got to be somebody from the England World Cup winning team, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. No idea.
For those of you watching in black and white, Tara's the one on the left.
I only know the ones that have died. Oh, Charlton. One of the Charlton brothers.
They're both dead.
Oh, is this man still alive then?
Which is why I said I'm the last surviving team member.
Oh, okay. Oh, Bobby somebody?
Bobby somebody? Who's Bobby somebody?
Bobby thing? Bobby. No, no. He's a Charlton, isn't he? No, you know the one I'm thinking of.
Bobby Moore wasn't of Charlton. Bobby Moore was Bobby Moore.
Oh, is that who I'm thinking of? Is he
I
dead
don't
as
know.
well?
Pardon?
Is he dead as well now?
Who, Bobby Moore?
Yeah.
He died donkeys years ago. He had cancer.
Okay. Oh, dearie me.
Bobby Moore, who was a very nice man,
Yeah.
died 30 years ago.
Oh.
He was the first one to die from that team.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he was only 51 when he died.
Okay. All right.
Alan Ball was the second, as far as I know.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll forget them then.
All right, he scored a hat-trick in the final.
Oh,
Which is why I said he got a knighthood, and I don't think he deserved it.
Oh, you don't? Yeah. Okay, I get that now. I get that.
Anyone watching this is screaming at this, going, "For God's sake, Tara! Everybody knows who that is." Do you know Bobby Moore had a middle name of Chelsea?
No way. Did he?
Yeah.
Bloody hell. No, I didn't know that.
Robert Frederick Chelsea Moore. There you go. Nearly signed for Tottenham as well.
Hurst.
Well done, you Googled it.
How do you know? What do you know?
In the final.
Jeff Hurst.
While I'm coughing my lungs up. So I've always said this, and I don't want to sound like I'm anti-West Ham or anti-England. I'm not. People say that what Jeff Hurst did that day was the greatest achievement in a cup final, World Cup final.
Okay.
Statistically, they are correct until the World Cup final that's just been had, because in that World Cup final, Mbappe did score a hat-trick. The difference is with the Jeff Hurst one, that goal never went over the line. Not as long as I got a hole where it is. That never went in. There's just no way it went in. I promise you, it's impossible for the assistant referee to have seen that. So
is that why you say he doesn't deserve the?
So he played one game of football where he scored a hat-trick, happened to be in the right game, but he played because the better player, Jimmy Greaves, wasn't available or they didn't pick him. But Jeff Hurst, when you look at his playing career, and I'm going back to his playing career now, okay, so I can't be accused of saying something untoward. He scored 180 goals for West Ham in 411 games. And in his football career, if you take out the games he's playing for Mickey Mouse team in America, so he played first division sides, 529 games and scored 212 goals. Yep. Can't hear you. Put yourself on mute.
Sorry, the dog was barking. That's not that much. That's not that many goals.
Right, so call it 530, 210. Makes the figures easy to work out, yeah? 21 goals in 53 games. So not even 40%.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, there's a lot of Chelsea fans out there who always tell me how wonderful Peter Osgood was, and I thought he was bang average, right? And they always say, oh, you're just anti-Chelsea, yeah? I'm not anti-Chelsea. I'm trying to explain that a bloke who scores a lot of goals, and a bloke who doesn't. So he played he scored 300, 405, 408, 8, 418 games in total, and he scored 130 goals. So 420 games, 130 goals. That's 31%. You think that's good? Right. I don't think it's good. I think it's bang average for a striker.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
For me, I think both of them are pony. And that's why when I go, well, all these blokes that I can list have all scored more than 40%, more than 45%. They're proper strikers for me. He just happened to be in the right place at the right time, and one of those goals never crossed the line. So to get knighted for playing one game of football properly, please do me a favour. Yeah, you should earn being knighted.
It happens a lot.
Bobby Moore should have been knighted.
It happens a lot, though. You've only got to look at that tennis player, that young girl for England recently. What's her name? She
Oh
won,
yeah, the one who's always injured now.
one who's always injured now. She won one Grand Slam, didn't she?
Yeah,
one
yeah.
title. That's all she won, and she
Yeah.
got knighted. No, she didn't get. Yeah, she did get knighted. She got honoured, didn't she?
Yeah, honoured, but there's a difference between honoured and knighted. I mean,
Well, for what?
Bobby Moore should have been knighted, right?
Mm.
Bill Nicholson was the first manager to do the double after the war, yeah? When it was... He won a European trophy. He should have been knighted. If Alex Ferguson got knighted, I mean, Bob Paisley should have been knighted for Liverpool. These people who did it year upon year upon year upon... They should be knighted.
I know.
You do one game of bloody football and score a goal, and one of the goals wasn't even a goal, and you get knighted for it. Do me a favour.
I know.
It's a joke.
It infuriates me sometimes when I see some of these honours lists, and I think, why on earth is this person getting it? What have they actually achieved?
I'll tell you something else that annoys me with all this stuff, right? You've got these people who've got wealth, fair play, they were brilliant at their sport. I've enjoyed watching them at whatever sport they were. Beefy's the same. But Ian, both of them getting knighted for cricket, I can understand that. The guy was on another level for all rounders worldwide from mid 70s to about late 80s. In that 10-year period, sort of 78 to 87, he was far and away the greatest all-rounder in the world. When you have somebody like that who achieved what he achieved, broke the English record at the time for bowling, I've got no problem with him being honoured and the OBE, and he did all this charity work, and he didn't use his cricket for the charity work. He used his name to promote the charity work and raised millions.
Yeah.
I have no problem with a bloke like that becoming a sir or a lord or a baron or whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
But when another guy who's a miserable sod, and he is miserable, his wife doesn't help, right, turns around and gets knighted for doing one game of football where he only scored 2 goals anyway, I'm sorry, it's ridiculous. It's just wrong.
You're not a fan.
No, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of him. You know, I never was a fan of his. I didn't think he was particularly good footballer, and I probably peed off all the West Ham fans. But when they really look at it in the cold light of day, he wasn't that good.
No, well, it's figures says it all, really, doesn't it?
Well, how I look at it, for me, if you average a goal every other game when you play as a striker, I think that is a very decent benchmark. Okay, so 1 in 2. So I know we're overrunning, but it doesn't matter. How many goals do you think Ronaldo has scored?
Oh, blimey. I don't know. I'm going to say 300 and something.
How many?
No? 200 and something.
Ronaldo, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So while he was, I'm not talking about being in the B team. So for Man United, and he came back when he was a lot older, yeah?
Yeah.
He played 236 games for Man United, and for Man United alone, he scored 103 goals. He's not a striker.
No, he's not.
But if you look at his games, 236, he scored 103. So if you double it for what you got from what's-his-face, from Jeff Hurst, he's the same level as Jeff Hurst. Well, he's slightly better. But he played, this is Ronaldo, He
He was
played
good.
his second time when he was at Manchester United, when he was already 35, 36 years of age, yeah?
Yeah.
Now, I appreciate diets and football pitches and everything else are different, yeah? Oh, hell's bells, I put the wrong name in here, right? Right. Jeff Hurst played from 1958 to 1976. 18-year careers. Good career, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. So if he's born in December 1941, he was 17 when he joined West Ham, and that was where he made a name for himself. When he went to Stoke from 72 to 75, 4 years there, he played 108 games, which is still quite decent, right? 210 goals, 520 games. Ronaldo's got half the goals in fewer than half the games for Man United alone, right? Ronaldo has now scored, and I don't count Al Nazir where he's on a goal a game, yeah? So he played 300, 590, 690, 730, 750 games. He's played professional. I don't count Al Nazir where he is at the moment, or Sporting Lisbon when he played for the B team. Yeah?
Okay.
500 goals.
Blimey.
Right. So he's scoring 2 goals every 3 games.
Mm.
And he's going to be 39 in February, yeah? Okay?
Yeah.
So now you look at Lionel Messi, because that's who you compare him with. Okay? Messi, don't count Barcelona C or Barcelona B, yeah? In 590 games, he scored 500 goals almost.
Blimey, that's nearly
80%, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the greatest striker in England, in my opinion, okay? He's just catching up, sorry. I don't know what's on. I'm trying to get Jimmy Greaves up for a minute because Jimmy's got a lot of goals, yeah? I don't know why the internet's having a moment. I don't know why. Jimmy Greaves. So for Chelsea, he scored 124 goals in 157 games. This is league goals. 220 and 321 for Tottenham. 9 in 10 for AC Milan and 13 in 38 for West Ham. So when you count that, 167 to 530 games, and he scored 360 goals at a time when the pitches were rubbish. So he was about 2 in every 3, yeah?
Yeah.
So
tons better than Jeff Hurst.
not on the same comparison. He's in the 60-odd percent. 65 to 70% scoring is phenomenal. And just to, compare it to somebody of today's ilk, so Harry Kane, because he's the only one you can really compare him with, forgetting his loan thing, so we're looking at Harry Kane, 213 in 317 games for Spurs, 18 in 12 at Munich, so 230 goals in 335 games. This is league goals. So he's at 60-odd percent. These are proper strikers. Anyone that tells me Jeff Hurst's a proper striker, 31.5%, absolute cack. It's half of what these other guys have done.
No, when you put it like that, I can see your point. Totally can see your point.
Getting awarded a knighthood for that is absolutely. I'll get a knighthood for being able to pee in the toilet from 5 yards. It's ridiculous.
And on that note, we will say our goodbyes. There's no commentary this weekend, I'm afraid. So, and we're hoping to be back on the 18th of December.
Fortnight, yeah, just before Christmas.
Yeah, but
I'm going to wear your Christmas Santa hat and stockings and suspenders.
Well, I don't know, because I'm going to be post-op. Do you remember? I'm having my operation next week.
So I know you are. So
I will have to play it by ear.
All 3 viewers are wishing you all the best.
Well, I'll take that.
Yeah. I have had a word with the surgeon, and they will find a spark plug for you, so you should be all right. They'll insert it back here, And it's just, just to keep the neck on, you'll be fine.
To recharge
You
my
know,
moon battery recharger.
yeah. Obviously, I hope you're okay. Yeah. On a
Thank you.
serious
No,
note, I know we do have
I'm
a
sure I'll be
giggle, but
fine. Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah. Obviously, you'll come back fine. Um,
Yeah.
but whoever watches it, I'm sure they'd all wish you to be well. Because, joking aside, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be having the giggle and driving everybody bonkers and giving them reasons to phone up and
And us.
complain. And they'll be on the phone to YouTube going, he got that non-political correct anti-gay tosser, and we don't
How
listen to him
dare he say
anymore.
that about Jeff Hurst and West Ham? Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. So
I'm
we
not.
will
I'm not
schedule.
anti-gay at all. It's not that at all. It's just I don't need something shoved in my face. That's all.
No, that's
Um,
fair enough.
you know,
We'll schedule for the 18th, but obviously,
yeah.
I
If
will
it
put
doesn't
out.
work out, Christmas evening's really good because no one listens anyway. And I tell you what, I still have bits of sausage hanging off my face.
It would just be me running to the loo every 2 minutes. Are you serious?
Yeah, I might be drunk.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, you have a lovely week.
Yeah, see you in
Thank
a
you,
fortnight.
everyone, for listening in. And for those who are going to listen later, thank you for taking the time.
And the repeat is on Dave. Starts in 2 weeks' time.
And we will see you all very, very soon.
Yeah, take care.
Take
Bye.
care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.